Have you ever looked at your life and quietly asked yourself, why is this happening to me? Why is Allah allowing me to go through this pain? Maybe you have smiled in front of people while carrying a heart full of sadness. Maybe you have answered, I'm fine, while your soul was exhausted from fighting battles nobody knows about. There are struggles that never appear on the outside. People may see your face, but they do not see your tears. They may hear your words, but they do not hear the pain hidden behind your silence. There are moments when life feels heavier than you can carry. A dream you worked so hard for does not happen. A person you loved walks away. A door you prayed would open remains closed. A dua you repeated for months or years seems unanswered. You begin to wonder, Ya Allah, I am trying my best. I am making dua, I am trusting you, so why is this still happening? These questions are not signs that your faith is weak. They are signs that you are human, and Allah knows the deepest emotions inside your heart. But sometimes, the greatest misunderstanding we have is thinking that every hardship means Allah is angry with us. We often see difficulty as a punishment, but in reality, a test can be a mercy. A test can be Allah's way of removing something harmful from our lives, protecting us from something we cannot see, or bringing us closer to Him in a way that comfort never could. Think about it, when everything is easy, many people forget to turn back to Allah. When life is comfortable, the heart can become attached to the dunya. But when a person is broken, when they have nowhere else to turn, they raise their hands and call upon Allah with complete sincerity. Sometimes the pain that makes you cry in the night is the same pain that brings you closer to the one who created your heart. Allah tells us in the Quran, the people think that they will be left to say, we believe, and they will not be tested. Surah Al-Ankabut 29-2. This verse reminds us that belief is not only a statement we make with our tongues. True faith is tested through patience, through struggles, through moments when we choose to trust Allah even when we do not understand His plan. Anyone can say they trust Allah when everything is going well. But the beauty of faith appears when a person is standing in the middle of a storm and still says, Ya Allah, I know you are with me. Every prophet and righteous person faced tests. Prophet Ayyub experienced sickness, loss, and hardship for years, yet he never lost hope in Allah's mercy. Prophet Yaqub cried because of the separation from his beloved son Yusuf, but even through his sadness, he said, so patience is most fitting, and Allah is the one sought for help against that which you describe. Surah Yusuf 12:18. Look at the strength of that heart. He was hurting, he was grieving, but he never believed that Allah had abandoned him. He knew that even when the situation looked impossible, Allah's wisdom was greater than his understanding. Maybe you are going through something today that you cannot explain. Maybe you are asking why Allah closed a door you desperately wanted to enter. Maybe you are wondering why your journey has been more difficult than others. But remember this, you only see one chapter of your story. Allah sees the entire book. You see the pain of today, Allah sees the purpose behind tomorrow. What if the hardship you are facing is not breaking you, but building you? What if the delay is not rejection, but preparation? What if the tears you shed in private are creating a connection with Allah that you would never have found in ease? Sometimes Allah removes things from our hands because He wants to place something better in our hearts. Sometimes He allows us to experience weakness so we discover the strength that comes only from depending on Him. Sometimes the test is not there to destroy your life, it is there to transform your soul. So if you are watching this while carrying a heavy heart, remember this, Allah sees every tear that falls. Allah knows every pain you hide. Allah hears every dua you whisper when nobody else is listening. Your struggle is not invisible to Him. The question is not only, why is Allah testing me? The deeper question is, what is Allah teaching me through this test? Because behind every hardship there is wisdom, behind every delay there is a reason, and behind every test there is an opportunity to return closer to Allah. Maybe the difficulty you are facing right now is not the end of your story. Maybe it is the beginning of a stronger connection with your Creator. Maybe Allah is preparing your heart for something greater than what you asked for. Every person who walks on this earth will experience some kind of test. No matter how strong someone looks, no matter how successful they appear, no matter how much wealth or comfort they have, every soul will face moments that challenge them. Some tests are visible, like sickness, loss, financial difficulties, or separation from someone we love. Other tests are hidden inside the heart, like fear, loneliness, anxiety, disappointment, and the struggle to keep going when nobody understands what we are feeling. Many people ask, why me? But the reality is that being tested is not a sign that Allah has forgotten you. Being tested is part of the journey of every believer. Allah tells us that this life was created as a place of examination, not a place of permanent comfort. The purpose of this world is not that we never experience pain, the purpose is that through every situation, we learn how to return to Allah. Sometimes we look at tests only through the eyes of pain. We see what we lost, what we could not achieve, and what did not happen according to our plans. But Allah sees what we cannot see. A hardship that feels painful today may carry a hidden blessing that becomes clear years later. A closed door may actually be Allah protecting you from something harmful. A delay may actually be Allah preparing you for something better. One of the greatest wisdoms behind tests is that they strengthen our faith. Faith is not only proven during moments of ease. Anyone can feel close to Allah when life is comfortable. But when difficulties arrive and a person still turns to Allah, still makes dua, still performs salah, and still believes that Allah's plan is better, that is when true faith becomes visible. A test can also be a way for Allah to remove our sins. As human beings, we make mistakes. We become distracted. Sometimes our hearts become attached to things more than they are attached to Allah. A hardship can become a means of purification. The pain you experience may erase sins you do not even realize you have committed. The tears you shed while turning back to Allah may become a reason for your forgiveness and mercy. The Prophet taught us that no difficulty touches a believer except that Allah uses it as a means of goodness for them. Even a small pain, even a moment of sadness, even something as simple as being hurt by a situation can carry reward when a person responds with patience and turns toward Allah. Tests also increase patience. Sabr is not simply waiting while feeling helpless. Sabr is holding on to faith while going through something difficult. It is choosing obedience when emotions are heavy. It is saying, Ya Allah, I do not understand what is happening, but I trust that your knowledge is greater than mine. Allah does not test us because He needs to discover something about us. Allah already knows everything. He knows our past, our present, and our future. He knows what is hidden inside our hearts before we even express it. But tests reveal to us who we truly are. They show us the level of our patience, the strength of our trust, and how much we depend on Allah. Sometimes a person does not realize how attached they were to something until Allah tests them by taking it away. Sometimes a person does not realize how strong their faith is until they are placed in a situation where they have no choice except to rely on Allah. Tests bring what is inside the heart to the surface. Look at the example of Prophet Ibrahim. His entire life was filled with tests, but every test increased his closeness to Allah. Allah tested him when He commanded him to leave his family in a dry and empty valley. Imagine the difficulty of that moment. Leaving his wife Hajar and his young son Ishmael in a place with no crops, no water, and no visible source of survival. From a human perspective, it was impossible to understand. But Ibrahim trusted Allah's command. He did not know how the future would unfold, but he knew the one who controlled the future. Because of his obedience and trust, Allah turned that place into a blessed land and made the story of his sacrifice a lesson remembered by millions of believers until today. Then came another great test. Allah tested Ibrahim with the command to sacrifice his beloved son Ishmael. This was not a small test. It was a test of love, obedience, and complete surrender to Allah. Ibrahim had waited many years for a child, and when Allah blessed him with a son, he was asked to place Allah's command above his own emotions. But Ibrahim showed the highest level of submission. He proved that his love for Allah was greater than anything else. Because of his obedience, Allah honored him and made his story a symbol of faith, sacrifice, and trust for generations. This teaches us something powerful. The tests that feel the heaviest today can become the moments that define our faith tomorrow. The hardship you are experiencing may one day become the story that gives someone else hope. The tears you cry today may become the reason you understand someone else's pain in the future. The struggle you are facing may be preparing you to help another person who feels lost. Never underestimate what Allah can create from your difficulties. A seed must be buried before it grows. A diamond is formed under pressure. And sometimes a heart becomes stronger only after it has been tested. So when you face a difficult moment, remind yourself, Allah is not testing me to break me. Allah is testing me because He knows I can grow through this. He is teaching me patience. He is bringing me closer. He is preparing me for something I cannot yet see. The test you are facing today may feel like a painful chapter, but with Allah's wisdom, it can become the most beautiful part of your story. There are moments in life when a person reaches a point where they feel completely exhausted. A moment where the heart whispers, I cannot do this anymore. A moment where the pain feels too heavy, the responsibilities feel too much, and the future feels uncertain. Maybe you have reached a place where you are tired of being patient. Tired of waiting, tired of fighting battles that nobody else knows about. You may look at your situation and think, why did Allah give me this test? Why am I carrying this burden? How can I continue when I already feel broken? These thoughts can come to the heart during moments of weakness, but Allah gives us a powerful reminder that brings hope and comfort. Allah says, Allah does not burden a soul beyond what it can bear. Surah Al-Baqarah 2-286. These words are not just a verse to read, they are a promise from the one who created you. Allah, the one who knows every hidden weakness, every silent struggle, and every fear inside your heart, tells you that no test has entered your life without His knowledge. Think about this. Allah created your heart. He created your emotions. He created your mind. He knows the strength you carry even when you cannot see it yourself. Sometimes you look at yourself and only see weakness, but Allah sees a strength inside you that you have not discovered yet. There are moments when a person says, I cannot handle this. But then, somehow, they wake up the next morning. Somehow, they continue. Somehow, they find the strength to make another dua, pray another salah, and take another step forward. That strength is not always from yourself. Sometimes it is Allah carrying you through the moments when you feel like you cannot walk anymore. Allah does not promise that life will never hurt. Allah does not say believers will never cry, never struggle, or never face difficulties. Instead, Allah promises that every difficulty comes with His knowledge, His wisdom, and His support. Look at the life of the prophets. Prophet Yusuf was separated from his family, thrown into a well, sold into slavery, and imprisoned unjustly. From a human perspective, these were overwhelming hardships. But every stage of his journey was under Allah's control. What looked like a disaster was actually a path toward honor and success. The well was not the end of Yusuf's story. The prison was not the end of Yusuf's story. The hardship was only a chapter, while Allah was preparing a beautiful ending. Sometimes you are standing in your well right now. Sometimes you are experiencing your own difficult chapter, and you cannot understand why Allah allowed it to happen. But remember, Allah sees the entire story while you only see one page. Your tears are seen by Allah. The tears you wipe away when nobody is watching. The tears you hide behind a smile. The tears that fall during the night when you raise your hands and whisper, Ya Allah, help me. Not a single tear is ignored by the one who is Al-Basir, the one who sees everything. Your prayers are heard by Allah. Even the du'as you think were delayed are known to Him. Sometimes Allah answers by giving exactly what you asked for. Sometimes He answers by protecting you from something harmful. Sometimes He delays the answer because He is preparing something better than what you imagined. A person may think, my dua is not being answered, but Allah may be saying, I heard you. I know your pain. I know the perfect time. Trust my wisdom. Your pain is known by Allah. People may misunderstand your struggle. They may not know how difficult your journey has been. They may judge your situation without knowing your story. But Allah knows every detail. He knows the battles you fought in silence. He knows the effort you made. He knows how many times you almost gave up but still turned back to Him. The same Allah who tested you is the Allah who gives you strength. The one who allowed the difficulty is the one who will provide the patience to survive it. Allah never sends a test without also sending the ability to face it. Maybe today you feel weak, but weakness does not mean Allah has abandoned you. Sometimes weakness is the place where Allah's help becomes most visible. When you have nothing left except turning to Him, that is when you discover the power of depending completely on Allah. Remember, a mountain does not become strong because it never faces storms. A mountain becomes strong because it remains standing despite the storms. And a believer's heart becomes stronger when it learns to rely on Allah through every situation. So if you are facing something difficult today, repeat this promise in your heart. Allah knows me better than I know myself. Allah knows my limits. Allah knows my pain. If He has allowed this test to reach me, then He has also prepared a way for me to overcome it. You are not carrying this burden alone. Allah is with you through every moment, every tear, every prayer, and every step forward. The test may be heavy, but the mercy of Allah is greater. The pain may feel endless, but Allah's help can arrive at a moment you never expected. Keep trusting Him, because the one who gave you the test is the one who will give you the strength to pass it. When we look at the lives of the prophets, we discover something powerful. The people closest to Allah were not the people who experienced the easiest lives. They were the people who faced some of the greatest hardships, yet they remained connected to Allah through every storm. Their stories teach us that being tested does not mean Allah has forgotten you. Sometimes, the greatest tests are given to the greatest servants because Allah wants to raise their status and show the beauty of patience, trust, and faith. Many people think that if someone is loved by Allah, their life should always be comfortable. They think blessings mean a person will never struggle, never lose, and never experience pain. But the lives of the prophets show us a different reality. The path of those who are close to Allah is not always a path without difficulty. It is a path where the heart learns to depend on Allah more deeply. One of the greatest examples of patience is Prophet Ayyub. His story is a reminder for every person who feels overwhelmed by hardship. Prophet Ayyub was blessed with wealth, family, and good health. He had a comfortable life, but Allah tested him by taking away many of the things people usually depend on. He lost his wealth. The possessions he once had disappeared. The comfort he enjoyed was taken away. Then he was tested with illness and weakness. The body that once had strength became a source of difficulty. The situation became so challenging that many people would have lost hope. But Prophet Ayyub did not allow his hardship to destroy his relationship with Allah. His body was suffering, his circumstances were difficult, but his heart remained connected to his Creator. He did not complain against Allah. He did not question Allah's wisdom. He continued to show patience and trust. After years of difficulty, Prophet Ayyub turned to Allah with a beautiful dua. Indeed, adversity has touched me, and you are the most merciful of the merciful. Surah Al-Anbiya 21-83. Look at the beauty of this dua. Prophet Ayyub acknowledged his pain, but he focused more on Allah's mercy. He did not say, Ya Allah, I cannot continue. Instead, he called upon the one who had complete power over his situation. This teaches us an important lesson. Islam does not teach us to pretend that pain does not exist. It does not teach us to hide our emotions or deny our struggles. Even the prophets experienced sadness and hardship, but the difference is that they carried their pain toward Allah instead of carrying it away from Allah. Sometimes when we face difficulties, we become distant from Allah. We stop praying with the same focus. We stop making dua because we feel disappointed. But the prophets did the opposite. Their hardships pushed them closer to Allah. Their pain became a reason to call upon Him more. Then we look at Prophet Yaqub, another example of a heart that suffered deeply but never lost hope. Prophet Yaqub experienced one of the most painful losses a person can experience, separation from his beloved son Yusuf. When Yusuf was taken away from him, Yaqub did not know when he would see his son again. Days turned into months, months turned into years. The sadness remained in his heart for a long time. The Quran describes his grief and the effect it had on him, but despite his deep sadness, he never lost trust in Allah. He continued to believe that Allah's plan was greater than what he could understand. He said, so patience is most fitting, and Allah is the one sought for help against that which you describe. Surah Yusuf 12:18. Imagine the strength of that statement. His heart was broken, but his faith was not broken. His eyes cried, but his hope remained alive. He experienced pain, but he never believed that Allah had abandoned him. This is a lesson for anyone who is waiting for something from Allah. Maybe you are waiting for a solution. Maybe you are waiting for healing. Maybe you are waiting for a relationship to be repaired, a dream to come true, or a difficulty to end. The story of Yaqub teaches us that a delay does not mean Allah has forgotten you. The prophets were tested not because Allah disliked them, but because Allah honored them. Their patience became an example for humanity until the end of time. Their struggles became lessons that continue to heal hearts thousands of years later. The Prophet Muhammad taught that the people who received the greatest tests are the prophets, then those closest to them in faith. This reminds us that difficulty is not always a sign of rejection. Sometimes it is a sign of elevation. The test you are facing today may feel painful, but Allah can transform that pain into something meaningful. The tears you shed may become a source of strength. The hardship you survive may become the wisdom you share with someone else. Remember this, Prophet Ayyub lost his health, but Allah restored him. Prophet Yaqub lost his son, but Allah reunited him. Their stories did not end with pain. They ended with Allah's mercy. Your story is also not finished. The chapter you are living today may be difficult, but Allah is still writing what comes next. Stay patient, keep making dua, keep trusting Allah, because sometimes the greatest stories of faith begin with the greatest tests of patience. There are moments in life when losing something feels like losing a part of yourself. A relationship ends, and your heart feels empty. An opportunity disappears, and you wonder why Allah did not allow it to happen. Money becomes difficult, health changes, plans fail, and suddenly the future you imagined looks completely different. In those moments, the heart naturally asks questions. Why did Allah take this away from me? Why did the thing I loved so much disappear? Why did my plans not happen the way I wanted? These questions come because we see only what is in front of us. We see the loss, the disappointment, and the pain, but Allah sees what we cannot see. Sometimes what we consider a loss is actually Allah's protection. Sometimes Allah removes something from our lives because He knows it was not good for our hearts, our future, or our relationship with Him. A person may cry because a door closed, but years later they may realize that Allah was saving them from a path that would have caused greater harm. Allah reminds us in the Quran, perhaps you dislike something which is good for you and perhaps you love something which is bad for you. Allah knows, while you do not know. Surah Al-Baqarah 2-216. This verse teaches us one of the greatest lessons of faith. Our understanding is limited, but Allah's knowledge is perfect. We judge situations based on what we feel today, but Allah knows what will happen tomorrow. We see one moment, but Allah sees the entire journey. Think about a child who wants something dangerous. The child may cry when the parent says no, because the child does not understand the reason behind the decision. But the parent refuses because of love and protection. In the same way, sometimes we ask Allah for something, but Allah closes that door because He knows what we do not know. Maybe you lost someone you wanted to stay with forever. Maybe you lost a job you thought was your future. Maybe you experienced a financial struggle after planning everything carefully. Maybe your health changed and your life became different from what you imagined. These moments are painful, and Islam does not tell us that pain is easy. Losing something you love hurts. Feeling disappointed hurts, but a believer finds peace in knowing that Allah's wisdom is greater than their emotions. Sometimes Allah removes people because they were not meant to walk with you forever. Sometimes Allah removes opportunities because a better opportunity is waiting. Sometimes Allah delays your plans because He is preparing something at the right time. Sometimes Allah takes something from your hands because He wants to place something better in your heart. The problem is that we often want Allah's plan to match our plan. We want the answer immediately. We want to understand every reason. But true trust in Allah means believing even when we do not have all the answers. Prophet Musa and Khidr teach us this powerful lesson. During their journey, Khidr did things that appeared confusing and even painful. Prophet Musa questioned those actions because he could not see the hidden wisdom behind them. But later, the reasons became clear. What looked wrong from the outside was actually part of Allah's protection and mercy. This is how life can be for us. There are moments where we only see the broken pieces, but Allah sees the complete picture. There are things we cry over today that we may thank Allah for tomorrow. So when Allah removes something from your life, do not immediately think, Allah has abandoned me. Sometimes the removal itself is a form of mercy. Sometimes the empty space Allah creates is where He wants to place something better. Trust Allah even when your heart does not understand. Trust that the one who created you knows what your soul needs better than you do. When you are going through a difficult test, your first responsibility is not to understand everything. Your first responsibility is to stay connected to Allah, because the heart that stays connected to Allah can survive situations that seem impossible. The first way to remain strong during hardship is to strengthen your connection with Salah. Prayer is not just an obligation, it is a place where the heart finds peace. When the world feels heavy, the believer stands before Allah and places that weight in his hands. In sujood, you can speak to Allah about things you cannot explain to anyone else. You can cry, you can ask, you can admit your weakness. Allah does not become tired of hearing you. Every time you turn back to Him, you are taking a step closer to peace. The second way is sincere dua. Do not only make dua with memorized words. Speak to Allah honestly. Tell Him what hurts. Tell Him what you fear. Tell Him what you need. Allah already knows what is inside your heart, but He loves when His servant turns to Him and asks. Sometimes the greatest transformation happens when a person stops trying to carry everything alone and says, Ya Allah, I need your help. The third way is increasing dhikr, remembering Allah. The world creates stress because our hearts become attached to temporary things. Dhikr brings the heart back to the one who controls everything. Allah says, Verily, in the remembrance of Allah the hearts find rest. Surah Ar-Ra'd 13:28. When you remember Allah, your problems may not instantly disappear, but your heart gains a different kind of strength. You begin to realize that no matter what you lose, you still have Allah. The fourth way is reading the Quran. The Quran is not only a book to recite, it is guidance and healing for the heart. When you feel lost, the Quran reminds you who Allah is. When you feel hopeless, the Quran reminds you of His mercy. When you feel weak, the Quran reminds you that Allah is near. The test you are facing may not disappear immediately. The situation may not change overnight. But Allah can change something even more important, your heart. Allah can give you patience when you thought you had none. Allah can give you peace in a situation that should have broken you. Allah can give you strength to continue when you thought you could not take another step. Remember, the goal is not only to remove every difficulty from life. The goal is to become a person who remains connected to Allah through every difficulty. The storm may continue for a while, but Allah can make your heart stronger than the storm. So hold on to Salah, hold on to Dua, hold on to Dhikr, hold on to the Quran, because the same Allah who knows your test is the Allah who knows how to carry you through it. Your pain has a purpose, your struggle has meaning, and your story is still being written by the one who knows what is best for you. Sometimes we look at our difficulties and only see the pain. We see the tears, the disappointment, the struggle, and the things we have lost. But there is another side of hardship that we often forget. Sometimes Allah allows a difficulty to enter our lives because He is removing something from our hearts that was harming us. Not every test is only about what is happening around us. Some tests are about what is happening inside us. Allah knows the condition of our hearts better than we know ourselves. He knows the attachments that are making us forget Him. He knows the weaknesses that are preventing us from growing. He knows the things we hold onto that are slowly damaging our connection with Him. Sometimes a person becomes attached to wealth, status, people, or worldly success without realizing it. They begin to depend on creation more than the Creator. Then Allah, through His wisdom and mercy, allows a situation that brings the heart back to Him. A hardship can become a purifier for the believer. It can wash away sins, soften the heart, and bring a person closer to Allah in a way that comfort never could. The Prophet Muhammad taught that no fatigue, illness, sadness, harm, or distress afflicts a Muslim, even something as small as a thorn that pricks them, except that Allah removes some of their sins because of it. Think about the mercy behind this. A moment that feels painful to you may actually be a moment of Allah's forgiveness. A difficult day may be removing burdens from your record. A tear that falls because of your struggle may be a reason for Allah's mercy. This does not mean that pain is easy. It does not mean we should not feel sadness. Even the prophets experienced grief. But it means that the believer looks beyond the pain and sees the wisdom of Allah. Sometimes hardship makes a person humble. When everything is going well, people can begin to believe they are independent. They may forget how much they need Allah. But when difficulties arrive, the heart remembers its true weakness. A person raises their hands and says, Ya Allah, I need you. And that moment of dependence on Allah can be more valuable than years of comfort. Sometimes Allah removes arrogance from the heart through tests. A person may have trusted their own abilities too much, thinking they could control everything. Then Allah shows them that true control belongs only to Him. This is not a punishment, it is a lesson that returns the heart to its proper place. Hardships can also increase gratitude. Many times, we do not appreciate blessings until we experience their absence. A person who has experienced sickness appreciates health differently. A person who has experienced loneliness appreciates sincere relationships differently. A person who has struggled appreciates small blessings that others overlook. The believer begins to see Allah's blessings everywhere. A simple meal becomes a blessing. A peaceful moment becomes a blessing. Waking up another day becomes a blessing. Sometimes Allah breaks your attachment to the world so your heart can attach itself to Him. Because the world was never meant to be our permanent home. Everything in this life changes. People change, situations change, wealth comes and goes, but Allah remains. When the heart attaches itself to Allah, it finds a stability that the dunya can never provide. So if you are facing a test today, do not only ask, why is this happening to me? Also ask, what is Allah teaching me through this? What is Allah removing from my heart? How is Allah bringing me closer to Him? Maybe the thing you lost was not meant to destroy you. Maybe it was meant to free your heart. And remember, Allah never takes something away without wisdom. Sometimes He removes what we love because He wants to protect what matters most, our connection with Him. There is another test that many believers experience, waiting for an answer from Allah. The pain of waiting can be difficult. You make dua again and again. You raise your hands in the night. You cry while asking Allah for something your heart desperately wants. But time passes, and you begin to wonder, Ya Allah, I have been making this dua for years. Why has nothing changed? This is a feeling many believers experience. The heart becomes tired. The person starts questioning whether the dua has been heard. But one of the most beautiful truths about Allah is this: no sincere dua is ever ignored. Sometimes Allah answers by giving you exactly what you asked for. The door opens, the problem is removed, the dream becomes reality, and you realize that Allah was listening all along. But sometimes Allah answers differently. Sometimes Allah protects you from something harmful that you cannot see. You ask for something because you think it is good, but Allah knows what is hidden behind it. He knows what would have harmed your faith, your future, or your heart. A child may ask for something dangerous because they do not understand the consequences. A loving parent refuses, not because they do not care, but because they care deeply. In a much greater way, Allah's wisdom is beyond our understanding. And sometimes Allah delays the answer because He is saving the reward for the hereafter. A dua that was not answered in the way you expected may become a source of endless reward on the day when every person will need Allah's mercy. Never think that your tears were wasted. Never think that your late-night prayers were forgotten. Allah heard every word. Allah knows every emotion. Allah knows every moment when you chose to trust Him even while waiting. Look at the story of Prophet Zachariah. He made dua to Allah for many years. He reached old age, and his situation seemed impossible from a human perspective. But he never stopped asking Allah. He called upon Allah with sincerity and humility. He knew that what was impossible for people was easy for Allah. Then Allah answered him at the perfect time and blessed him with a child, Prophet Yahya. The lesson is powerful. Allah's delay is not rejection. Allah's timing is not like our timing. We want the answer immediately because we only see today. Allah chooses the perfect moment because He sees the entire future. Sometimes the waiting period is not empty time. It is a period where Allah is preparing you. He is strengthening your faith. He is changing your heart. He is arranging things you cannot see. A delayed answer does not mean Allah ignored you. The same Allah who heard Prophet Zachariah hears you. The same Allah who responded after years can respond to your dua at the most perfect moment. Keep asking, keep trusting, keep turning back to Allah. Because when Allah delays something, it is never because He forgot you. It is because His wisdom knows exactly when your heart is ready, when the situation is right, and when the blessing will be greatest. There are moments in life when we look at our struggles and wonder why Allah allowed us to experience them. We see the pain, the disappointment, and the difficulties, but we do not always see the transformation happening inside us. Sometimes Allah is using the very thing that hurts us to build something stronger within us. A hardship is not always there to destroy you. Sometimes it is there to develop you. Sometimes the struggle you are trying to escape is the same struggle Allah is using to prepare you for something greater. Think about how a person grows. Strength does not come from a life without challenges. A person becomes stronger by facing difficulties, learning from mistakes, and continuing even when the journey is hard. In the same way, the soul grows through the tests Allah places in our lives. Pain teaches patience. Before experiencing hardship, a person may think they are patient, but true patience is revealed when life becomes difficult. When you are waiting for an answer, when you are facing uncertainty, when you continue making dua despite disappointment, that is when Allah develops sabr inside your heart. Failure teaches humility. Sometimes we make plans and believe we know what is best for ourselves. Then something does not happen the way we expected. It can hurt, but it can also teach us that we are not in control of everything. Allah is the one who knows what is best. A broken plan can become a lesson that brings the heart closer to complete trust in Him. Loss teaches reliance on Allah. When everything around us is stable, we may forget how much we need Allah. But when something is taken away, the heart discovers where true dependence belongs. We learn that people can leave, situations can change, and possessions can disappear, but Allah remains. Sometimes Allah removes temporary things to strengthen our connection with what is eternal. Look at the process of creating a diamond. A diamond does not appear instantly. It is formed deep beneath the earth under intense pressure and extreme conditions. The pressure that seems destructive is actually part of the process that creates something valuable. In a similar way, the pressures of life can shape the believer's heart. The difficulties you face can create qualities that comfort never could. They can create patience, wisdom, compassion, and a stronger connection with Allah. The person who has experienced pain understands the pain of others. The person who has struggled learns to appreciate blessings. The person who has depended on Allah during hardship develops a faith that cannot easily be shaken. So do not look at your struggle and think, my life is falling apart. Sometimes what feels like breaking is actually Allah rebuilding you in a better way. Do not judge your story while Allah is still writing it. You may be living through a chapter that feels confusing. You may not understand why certain doors closed. You may not understand why certain people left. You may not understand why the journey became harder than you expected. But remember, you are reading one page while Allah knows the entire book. Allah says, for indeed, with hardship comes ease. Indeed, with hardship comes ease. Surah Ash-Shah 94-5-6. Notice that Allah does not say hardship will last forever. Allah connects hardship with ease. This means that difficulty is never the final destination for the believer. The night may feel long, but morning always comes. The storm may feel powerful, but it eventually passes. The wound may feel painful, but healing can come from places you never expected. Your struggle is not the end of your story. Allah is preparing something beyond what you can currently see. Every test in this world has an ending. Every difficult moment has a limit. Every hardship has an appointed time. This life, with all its happiness and sadness, is temporary. Sometimes when we are suffering, we feel like the pain will last forever. A person going through sadness may think, I will always feel this way. Someone facing a difficult situation may think, my life will never become better. But Allah reminds us that everything in this world passes. Your sadness has an expiry date. Your struggle has an expiry date. Your pain has an expiry date. The situation that feels impossible today will one day become a memory. The tears you cry today will one day be replaced by gratitude. The difficulty that feels so heavy now will one day become a story you tell with a heart full of appreciation for Allah's wisdom. This does not mean we ignore our pain. It means we remember that pain is temporary, but the reward from Allah is everlasting. A believer is not only rewarded for reaching the end of the hardship. A believer is rewarded for every moment of patience along the way. Every time you chose faith instead of despair. Every time you turned to Allah instead of giving up. Every time you remain patient when nobody understood your struggle. Allah says, only those who are patient will be given their reward without limit. Surah Az-Zumar 39-10. Imagine a reward from Allah that has no limit. Human rewards have limits. Human appreciation has limits. People may forget what you sacrificed. People may not recognize your struggles. But Allah never forgets. Every tear is known. Every prayer is recorded. Every moment of patience is preserved with Allah. One day, when you stand before Allah and see the reward He prepared for you, you will understand why certain things happened the way they did. You will understand why some doors closed. You will understand why some prayers took longer. You will understand why Allah chose a path that you never would have chosen for yourself. The believer's journey is not measured only by comfort. It is measured by how close they became to Allah through every situation. Maybe today you are asking, why did Allah choose this difficult path for me? But one day, with the wisdom Allah gives you, you may look back and say, now I understand. That hardship brought me closer to Allah. That pain changed me. That struggle protected me. That test was a blessing I could not recognize at the time. So keep walking, keep trusting, keep believing. The test will end, but the reward will remain. The pain will end, but the lessons will remain. The hardship will end, but the closeness you built with Allah will remain forever. There comes a moment during every test when we have to look deeper than the pain itself. Instead of constantly asking, why is this happening to me, we should begin asking, what is Allah teaching me through this? The question, why me, often comes from a heart that is tired and hurting. It comes when we only see the difficulty in front of us. We see what we lost, what changed, and what we cannot control. But when we change our question, we change the way we see our entire situation. Instead of asking, why did Allah allow this, we begin asking, what lesson is Allah placing in my life? Instead of seeing only the hardship, we start searching for the wisdom behind it. A believer does not ignore pain. A believer does not pretend that everything is easy. But a believer knows that Allah's actions are never without purpose. Every test carries a message. Every difficulty has wisdom. Every hardship can become a path that brings the heart closer to Allah. Maybe Allah is using this test to bring you closer to Him. Sometimes a person becomes distant from Allah during times of comfort. They become busy with the dunya and forget the one who gave them everything. Then a difficulty comes, and suddenly their hands rise in dua again. Their heart returns to prayer. Their tongue remembers Allah. Sometimes the hardship itself becomes the reason you find your way back to your Creator. Maybe Allah is removing something harmful from your life. Sometimes we hold on to things because we love them, but Allah knows what those things would do to us in the future. We see the temporary happiness, but Allah sees the hidden harm. A closed door may be protection. A lost opportunity may be mercy. A separation may be a blessing that you do not understand yet. Maybe Allah is preparing you for something better. Sometimes a person wants something immediately, but Allah delays it because the person is not ready. Allah is not only preparing the blessing, He is preparing the heart that will receive the blessing. A person may ask Allah for success, but Allah first teaches them patience. They may ask for happiness, but Allah first teaches them gratitude. They may ask for strength, but Allah first teaches them dependence on Him. The journey may feel difficult, but Allah is building something inside you. This is why having good thoughts about Allah is so important. The believer knows that Allah is Ar-Rahman, the most merciful. Allah is Al-Hakim, the most wise. He does not make mistakes. He does not forget His servants. He does not allow something to happen without knowledge and wisdom. Even when you cannot understand the plan, trust the planner. Allah never tests you without a reason. The difficulty you are facing today may be developing qualities that you will need tomorrow. The patience you are building today may become the strength that carries you through future challenges. The closeness to Allah you gain during this test may become one of the greatest gifts of your life. So do not only focus on what the test is taking away from you. Also look at what the test is giving you. Maybe it is giving you a softer heart. Maybe it is giving you stronger faith. Maybe it is teaching you that Allah is enough. If you are going through something difficult right now, remember this. Allah sees you. Allah hears you. Allah knows your struggle. He knows the tears you hide from people. He knows the pain you cannot explain. He knows the nights when you feel alone. He knows every battle happening inside your heart. There is no moment of your hardship that Allah is unaware of. So do not give up when the test becomes heavy. Do not think that your situation will remain this way forever. The one who sent the test is also the one who has the power to remove it. The same Allah who tested Prophet Ayyub with hardship gave him healing. The same Allah who tested Prophet Yaqub with separation reunited him with his son. The same Allah who tested the prophets with difficulties gave them honor and victory. Your test has an ending. Your pain has an ending. Your struggle has an ending. But the reward of patience with Allah has no ending. Sometimes Allah allows your heart to break so that you finally turn completely toward Him. Sometimes Allah removes the things you depended on so you discover that Allah was always the one you needed most. Never forget, the heart that trusts Allah is never truly lost. Even if you do not understand today, trust that Allah is writing a story better than you could write for yourself. Now let us make dua together. Ya Allah, ease the pain of every heart watching this video. Ya Allah, you know every hidden struggle, every silent tear, and every burden that people carry. Bring comfort to those who feel broken. Bring hope to those who feel lost. Bring light to those who are walking through darkness. Ya Allah, replace their sadness with peace, their fear with hope, and their difficulties with blessings. Ya Allah, heal the hearts that are hurting. Strengthen those who feel weak. Give patience to those who are being tested. Open doors for those who feel trapped. Provide for those who are struggling. Forgive our sins and bring us closer to you. Ya Allah, make us among those who trust your plan even when we do not understand it. Make us among those who remain patient during hardship and grateful during blessings. Ya Allah, do not let our tests take us away from you. Let every difficulty become a reason for us to return closer to you. Ameen. If this reminder touched your heart, share it with someone who needs hope. Sometimes one message can reach a person who is silently struggling and remind them that Allah has not forgotten them. Like this video and subscribe for more Quranic reminders that bring peace to the heart. And always remember, Allah is with those who are patient.